I want to ask this question. Does Caleb Williams have the most pressure of any quarterback in the NFC North right now? And the reason that I ask that is because I think you can make a case for just about every one of these guys in the North right now and say there is an immense amount of pressure on their shoulders already. When you look at Jared Goff has to prove that he can be that guy without Ben Johnson out there. And he has a little bit of an uphill battle ahead of no Kevin Zeitler. You lose your starting center to retirement out of nowhere, right? Brand new coordinator in the building, not a different offense that's going to be coming in. But listen, we've seen what happens when a different play caller enters the chat. I think when you look at the JJ McCarthy situation, JJ McCarthy coming in for Sam Darnold, who I think a lot of us were like, oh, wow, this guy's career has been resurrected. And then you get out there and look, and they're like, we don't want you. You get out of here, buddy. We don't want you here. To me, I think that's an interesting conversation because you moved on from a dude that won 14 games for a rookie. There's some pressure that is going to be there. And I think maybe there's even more pressure on Kevin O'Connell if you want to have that conversation. Of course, Caleb Williams here in Chicago with everything that has been brought up for him. I mean, like you literally changed the entire process of going out and acquiring people to make Caleb Williams better. You spent money that we've never seen the Bears spend in our lives to go out and make Caleb Williams better. I think that pressure is there as well. And then Jordan Love, $55 million contract. He's been paid. He's been mid at best. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's a solid quarterback that will throw an interception that will absolutely get you out of a game. I think he's also a solid quarterback that can throw touchdowns that can win you the game. I think there has to be a moment, though, where you look at this process and say, okay, is he more than just the interceptions? Can he be more than just the guy who has a hot game, has a couple of cold games, has a couple of hot games, has a cold game? Can he be consistent in his in direction, especially with many people, even me, believe is probably, if not the best, the second best mind in football with Matt LaFleur standing across from him. Jordan JC, I ask you this. Who has the most pressure from the quarterback position in the NFC North?
I got to be honest with you. I love the way you presented this because to me, it was a very obvious answer until you broke down every quarterback situation. My answer doesn't change, but I am giving more thought and, overall to the other teams that are mentioned, with the Vikings and JJ McCarthy having to prove that, hey, he can replace a quarterback that was a journeyman that turned into a really good quarterback. And then they just poof, vamoosh, gone. So now he has to carry that torch. It's easier when you got one of the better receivers in the league. And like you say, just throw that thing down there. He'll find a way to catch it. But Kevin O'Connell, again, I trust more in him to be that quarterback whisperer, that quarterback coach. He's very, very good in dialing up an offense. And so I don't necessarily see JJ as having the most pressure. Jordan Love's been here for a minute. He's been with Matt LaFleur for a while. I'm not going to say he has the most pressure because he's kind of been who he has been for last couple of seasons. Decent quarterback. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but there are times where you can rattle him and he can give the game away with errant passes, interceptions. And so he's on and off at times. I'm not going to say that the pressure is highest on him. Where I go is Detroit. And the reason why it's not Caleb is because I think, as you mentioned, Jared Goff has to prove now that he is going to be the same efficient, elite quarterback that he was, especially at the beginning of last season, but along with a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive mind and system that's going to be implemented. And again, you mentioned the protection is not going to be as great. Detroit had the best line, but there are a few pieces now that are gone. And so what does that tell you about what how much time he has in the pocket to pass? Jared Goff is not a quarterback that is a mobile quarterback. He is a ideal prototypical in the pocket, fast, quick throws, quick release quarterback. And so, there's going to be more pressure on Dan Campbell to kind of, right the ship after his OC and DC has been gone. So I put the pressure there. The reason why I give Caleb the pass is because it's almost like, how you get that new cable install, and you got that 30-day trial period or that 60-day trial period where it's like, okay, let's see if this works or not. I think that's the excuse that Caleb has right now with the new install and the new offensive scheme and things of that nature that Ben Johnson is trying to put here in Chicago. Caleb kind of has a pass as this is brand new. This is something that we're just now trying out. And so the pressure is going to be on him to learn and to develop and to get this system quickly. But it's obvious and it's going to be understood that there's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be mistakes. Like, we expect that. It's not something that he's used to just yet. And so I put Jared Goff at number one clearly.
Paulie G with the super chat. He said, I'd say Williams has the most just because most scouts agreed he's generational. Goff was traded to a dead franchise at the time. Love is talented, but still raw. He a little late in the process.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
You can't be raw 3 years in. Vikings QB coming off an injury. So, you know what? You do got to play the injury card in there as well. Also, Kevin O'Connell literally can just turn around and hand the football off. Shout out Paulie G. He hit at the Riverboat, supporting the channel with the super chats yet again. Shout out to Paulie G as well.
Shut up, PG.
I love it. Whenever I see much just rocking, I'm like, oh, did you hit with the Riverboat again? Oh, shout out to you.
$15, $20,
PG.
Bam.
Paulie G. Hey, Paulie G done came in here and dropped some bands. I ain't gonna lie. Paulie G done came in here and dropped some guap.
Appreciate the support, for real.
Love Paulie G, man. Not just for the money. Love him as a supporter, but the money does it. But no, I think that here's my take on it. There is no one that is under more pressure than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is the only one of these four quarterbacks who was the number one overall pick. I may be wrong on that. Was Jared Goff the number one overall pick?
Yeah.
He's the only one of these four quarterbacks who's been the number one overall pick in the last 3 years. I was like, wait a minute. Jared Goff was definitely the number one overall pick. He's the only one of these four quarterbacks who, when you look at teams giving the quarterback what he needs, has gotten it all. There is no question. You went out and you got the best play caller that was on the market. You went out and you got the best running back coach that was on the market. You went out and you got the best defensive coordinator that was on the market. You went out and you got the best, I'll throw it in there, wide receiver coach that was on the market.
Absolutely.
You went out and you got the best starting center that was available. You went out and you got the best left guard that was available. You got Jonah Jackson. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you, Jonah. Like, there's so much that was given to Caleb Williams that there's no doubt in my mind that he has the most amount of pressure on top of getting that generational label. I don't even think it's close when you talk about this. Here's the thing with Jared Goff for me. The protection. Losing your offensive coordinator is going to be massive no matter when it happens. Right? It is. It's going to be big. It's going to take time to adjust. It's going to be a tough situation. Then losing Frank Ragnow. On top of that, you lost your offensive coordinator and your starting center. You're going to look at Jared Goff and be like, well, of course, things are going to be a little bit difficult. Like, even if they come out and they win like 9-10 games, we'll be like, yeah, I mean, you lost a lot. You got to adjust. You got to bounce back. In fact, I would say if they win 9-10 games, we will give Jared Goff credit and Dan Campbell credit for being able to stay above 500 with the situation that he's in. J.J. McCarthy, I do think that there's pressure there. But I think having J.J. McCarthy be the starting quarterback is also something that creates pressure even more on Caleb Williams and puts that spotlight more on Caleb Williams. The reason that I say that is, Jordan J.C., how many of Caleb Williams' contemporaries has Caleb Williams beat? So those guys that could have been drafted by the Chicago Bears, or those guys who could have been taken the year earlier by the Chicago Bears when they did end up trading that first round pick. He lost to CJ Stroud. And then CJ Stroud tried to like grab the jersey and was like, "Come here, I want to tell you a story."
I hate it. Oh, I couldn't stand that.
I know it irritated you. You ended up beating Bryce Young. You beat Bryce Young pretty bad. That was fun.
Sure. Yeah.
You got drubbed by Drake May. You're clearly behind where Bo Nix is at right now.
Yeah.
And now this is the next opportunity you have. Opening day, prime time, Monday Night Football. Can you imagine what the story is going to be if he loses to J.J. McCarthy, who's the other quarterback in that draft, the fourth quarterback in that draft? Now, I think it's different if, right, J.J. goes out there and he throws for like 130 and he hands the football off a ton and we get run over versus, and Caleb Williams goes out and has a 350 night, right? Like if Caleb balls out and you go, oh, he's clearly a better quarterback, I think that's a different conversation. But where it's at right now to me, if it's even and the Bears find a way to lose, I think that puts all the pressure on Caleb Williams. And then the thing with Jordan Love is like, Jordan Love is fine. Not great. He's not terrible. He's fine. There are moments where he's going to play great. There are moments where he's going to play bad. He's fine. I don't think that adds any pressure. The $55 million to me, while it does add the pressure, he got paid the going rate for quarterbacks. Like freaking Sam Darnold just got paid a bag.
Yeah, you weren't going to not pay him.
Sam Darnold got paid a bag to go to all the conditions that are going to make him worse. Sam Darnold is terrible outside. Sam Darnold is terrible in bad weather. Sam Darnold is like all these things that are going to make his game worse. The Seattle Seahawks were like, let's pay him.
He doesn't have Justin Jefferson. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Doesn't have Justin Jefferson. It does have Jackson Smith and Jigba though. Which
that ain't Justin Jefferson.
Jigba dog. Jackson Smith and Jigba dog. We not. Now he's not Justin Jefferson, but Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Come on, man. Yeah, I understand.
I'm just saying, it's not like he got
different tiers. No, he has somebody.
He'll lose DK.
He lost DK. Oh yeah, and Cooper Kupp. That's a good. That's a good call out.
He got good weapons. He got good weapons.
Decent weapons.
But hey, man, I just me, I think it screams that Caleb Williams has the most amount of pressure on him because even in other situations where other quarterbacks are coming in and maybe have the pressure on them, that also puts pressure on Caleb Williams if he ends up losing to them.
You make very valid points for Caleb, and I see a path where that makes sense, but I'm sticking to my guns. I know some people may not agree with my take. I guess the reason why I'm thinking,
I think it's a valid kind. There's pressure on all four of these guys.
No, but here's the reason why I keep going back to Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, because I'm also pairing it up with the team expectation from last year. Like the Chicago Bears were 5-12. Once they lost to Washington and their season went down the drain, and they didn't keep up with all the amount of winning that the division was doing. I knew that the season was over. And so going into this year, you know, if you want to talk about which team has the highest expectations based off of how they played last year, to me, I still go back to the Detroit and Jared Goff, because one, when you got to the playoffs, you were injury riddled on defense. And so should you have been beaten by Washington, you know, or did that just look like that because you didn't have your full team and a healthy roster and Aiden Hutchinson, you know, the right guys there to actually continue on that streak, because you ended the season 15-2.
Yeah.
Like you had an epic season. And so I think the pressure to get back to that when you have a winning organization now, and Dan Campbell has built this thing up to the point where it's respectable now, I feel like the pressure's all on them to repeat that. Maybe not go 15-2, but still be the best in the division and then go further, not be a first round exit. If the Chicago Bears happen to get to the first round and exit, we're happy, because that's better than anything they've done in the past couple of years. So even if Caleb Williams, I don't know how long, like
the first round since 2019.
Yeah,
2020. About 5 years. We played New Orleans.
New Orleans. So it's been a second, and my thing is, yes, Caleb Williams, yes, versus his counterparts, he is not number one on the list. He has lost to Drake May. There has been some issues versus Bo Nix, of course. We know Jaden Daniels. We know that. He won Rookie of the Year for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So my thing is, there is an uphill climb for Caleb. There is expectations for you to be the so-called superstar and the quarterback that changes this franchise around. I get that. That is all on his back. However, I guess when you look at it from a wider lens and you look at the entire team and the expectation of the team, I still go Detroit, because if they fall off the face of the earth with all of their losses, it's going to be like, oh, well is Jared Goff just another mid version of himself again? What happens? So that's why I stand pat with that.
Listen, that conversation is there. I just think it's a tough conversation to have on Goff, knowing like I lost my starting center. I lost Kevin Zeiler. I've lost my starting or my offensive coordinator. I think even defensively, I think the biggest loss is going to be Aaron Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Glenn was calling a defense that was still competent while people were just dying around him. Get up! Oh, he's gone. Oh,
somebody else about that. Yep.
Cover two.
He's gonna have to get out there and play himself. Yeah.
I thought we were gonna see Aaron Glenn back on the field, man. But I think that's where it gets tough. Like there's a lot that happened, and I get it. We can just assume it's gonna be fine. Everyone's gonna come back. It's gonna be kumbaya. It's probably not just gonna be fine.
Mm.
It's probably not. Now, if it does, I said it. Dan Campbell's up there with the John Harbaugh's. He's up there with the
you put Matt LaFleur in there.
Tomlins, he's up there with it. All those guys who aren't the guys calling plays, and they're able to bring back other coordinators who are able to have an impact on the team and keep the winning ways going. I'm not saying Dan Campbell can't do that. I just think it's an incredible uphill climb when you talk about losing Ben Johnson, who we all know has been so innovative for that Detroit Lions offense. When you talk about losing Aaron Glenn, who I think has been an absolute godsend for the defense that the Lions had over the last few seasons, that was getting banged up time after time. So we'll see what ends up happening here, and hopefully, they all suck. But I think that when you talk about pressure in the long run, it's tough for me to look anywhere else but Caleb Williams. The biggest thing that I will say, though, coming out of all of this is I think if you want to look at a coach, and maybe we got to have this conversation as well heading into tomorrow, is there a coach with more pressure on him right now than Kevin O'Connell? Like,
that's a good question. Yeah,
like that's one of those where I'm like, bro, you moved on from a 14-win quarterback to say this kid's got it. This kid better have it.
I think they thought investing in JJ McCarthy into the draft, I think they were already looking past Sam Darnold and using this year as maybe the year where he learned under Sam, and they didn't expect Darnold to just ball out the way he did. And it was like, all right, well, we've already invested in this guy. We're going to have him sit 2 years under his rookie deal. That doesn't make any sense. Like, nowadays, quarterbacks don't usually sit, especially rookie quarterbacks that are drafted in the first or second round. Like, you want those guys to play on as cheap of a deal as possible so you can address other areas. And so for me, I think their mindset was, oh, well, yeah, he balled out, but now let's just package and trade him away for as much as we can get for him and invest in our rookie quarterback who looked like he was good in what is it, in the offseason, or not the offseason, in the preseason.
Yeah.
Before he got hurt. He had a couple of good quarters. And so now we just need to move forward with him. Like, that's the choice we made. That's the bet we made. Now we got to lay in it in a sense.
Yeah. And we'll see what ends up happening this season. Maybe we had that conversation tomorrow, but I think right now where the Bears are at, you feel good, especially coming out of this offseason program. You feel like the pressure's there, but it almost feels like they're ready for it.
Yeah.
Like the part that I love about Ben Johnson, and the part that I love about, kind of the mindset that he's instilling in this team, is they're not running from anything. All these mothers want to come to, oh, you never had a 4,000-yard passer. He's like, give me a year.
Yeah.
Ben, we've never had a quarterback throw 30 touchdowns. Give me a year. Ben, we've never had a franchise quarterback in this franchise's history. Give me a year.
The face.
Ben, we've never had a dynamic offense that lasted for more than one season. Give me a year.
Give me a couple.
You know what I mean? Like look at the difference here. We got give me a year. Fuck.
God. Total complete right there.
Matt LaFleur, what are your thoughts on Jordan Love? Why? Drop a couple FGBs in the chat.
FGB. No, man, it's utterly ridiculous.
Oh God! But no, I think that when you look at this Bears team right now, I'm excited to see kind of where things are going to go, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun this season. And now we've got 7 weeks of nothing to talk about, so let's have some fun. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Actually, we've got something special coming for you guys. Weekly, we're going to be doing a special episode when we're all together. We're going to be looking at the season, and I think it's going to be fun. And just like I said, give me a year. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in the show. I love it. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, hit a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, from Mr. Media yourself, Jordan JC. It's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love.
The best show for Chicago sports.
Give me a year. Give me a year. You want all those pigeons going, everybody? Give me a year.
What?
No more birds. We 1 year. Damn!